in the prison. That has never happened. Yeah, tell me.
So, Mr. Ram Ramkumar, you touched upon a subject which is generally, I think, is unknown in North India, that the North Indians who went to Tamil Nadu, or for whether they are workers from Bihar or UP, Eastern UP, as they go, for whatever reason, basically, the lack of law and order and the employment opportunities,
Correct.
so it was prevalent to Tamil Nadu particularly. And there were definitely so many, artisans and small businessmen from places like Rajasthan, lots of them are there in Tamil Nadu or South India. So you
Yes.
mean to say most of them were not giving a voter card, identity card, or ration card? They were discriminated in this. That if that is true, it is not generally known to people generally.
No, I'm not saying they were not. I'm saying this party of Tamil, Nam Tamil, we are Tamilians. That's what it translates into. They are saying that they should not be given any of these things. But I don't think that now they are being denied either ration cards or voting rights. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely ration cards are being given. But that was another reason why these fellows. They're saying, when Modi said one ration card, now in the olden days, I don't know if it's still the case. You try, you move, you change house from Karol Bagh to Connaught Place. You have to surrender your ration card here and go there and register afresh and get a new ration card. So that used to be the case. So now, but Modi, I don't know if I don't think it's been one ration card. You get a ration card anywhere in India. That's good to go to any ration shop anywhere in the country. They are opposed to that for this very reason. Has that been introduced? I don't know.
Not yet, but what we hear is that it is. The process is on
its way. Yeah. With Aadhaar, all these should be possible. For the same reason, they don't want this national anything, whether it is Aadhaar or NEET exam or anything. Nothing should be national. Everything should be under the control of the state government, so that they can make money and also play this Aryan Dravidian card. So this is one of them. Now, so to answer your question, I don't think it is the case now. And, I think voters' ID is also probably possible. Now, that's what I think. It doesn't happen. But he's demanding that. And there is a support for that. Many other people, even not in his party, are saying, yes, that they should not, if we allow this, and all the support comes from this common feeling, unfortunately, that if we allow this, BJP will come to power, or BJP will take over the state. This anti-national, the anti-Brahmin thing, I think we mentioned this, the anti-Brahmin thing became, that is what the whole genesis in the early 1900s with Periyar was anti-Brahmin. There are too many Brahmins. And most of the initial movement, which is called Justice Party, the major players who formed this Justice Party were all very rich lawyers, doctors, all from forward caste, but not Brahmin, just below the Brahmins. Okay, so those were the people who said we have to. Brahmins are cornering everything. They are all the ICS officers or all the judges. So we should stop that. Then it transformed over time into an anti-Brahmin. It was a high caste rich people movement. It was by no means a social justice anything, even though they claimed that. And the way it has progressed is that now they keep on saying the same thing. It's anti-Brahmanism. It is still there. There's no Brahmins, as we have discussed. Brahmins are not, except in business or IS or like State Bank, Reserve Bank. That's the only thing open to them. But still, they keep on talking about Brahmin, this Brahmin nonsense and all that. There are no Brahmins to speak of in power, of anything, in any area. So the Brahmin thing is the only thing that is keeping them going. But they still call it social justice. Yeah.
So, this is a very important point. Generally, lately, Dayanidhi Maran, the son of Stalin, who made that kind of a statement that we will, finish Sanatan Dharma and all that, Brahmanism and blah, blah. So, in the fact is that, which is also not known generally, I think, that is your assessment or the description of the reality, that there are no Brahmin left in policy making or higher administration. That you mean to say that?
Let me stress it once more. It is not just my opinion or anything like that. You
It's a
got,
fact.
yeah, no, no. I'm just telling you because you're saying for a larger audience. This is
Mhm.
statistically, you can go and Google anything, go and read. It's all there. How many? I think we might have mentioned. Let's start with the number of MPs, elected MPs since 1971, 67, when the DMK first got elected. My father died that year. Until then, there were a smattering of MPs, MLAs, ministers. Everything was the Brahmins also, because Kamaraj was not specifically anti-Brahmin, though he had the underlying anti-Brahmin sentiment was there throughout Tamil politics. Congress was not like that, and Kamaraj definitely wasn't like that. But since '67, another died within a year. He wasn't that bad. He used to come home in Delhi, because he was in the Rajya Sabha much before that. He was a very good friend of my father. So he was not, and he was also an educated man, not this kind of, and none of his family, nobody entered politics, and they all. So when another died, the DMK party became completely in the stranglehold of Karunanidhi, who he is one of the worst elements in Indian politics, and he unfortunately lived till 93 or 94. No, and this was what it was. Then it became a totally anti-Brahmin. Since 71, if you take 67, what 52, 60 years. How many Lok Sabha seats? There must have been 500 Lok Sabha seats which underwent elections. I doubt if there are more than 2 or 3 Brahmins who have been elected, and that too a long time ago. And one of them is R. Venkatraman, because he was he kissed up to MGR and all that. So maybe one or two. I can't remember any other name. Out of, let's say, 500, 600 MPs who have been selected. Now, MLAs, same thing. 5,000 MLAs have been elected in various constituencies. Maybe 5 of them would have been Brahmin. And you extend this to the Public Service Commission, I would say it is probably 0. So every year, if Tamil Nadu gets, let's say, 20 IAS officers and 20 IPS officers through UPSC. Until very recently, it used to be 10 of them used to be Brahmin in the IPS and 10 of them in the IAS. So because they were selected nationally. And I'll just take my example. If you take State Bank or Reserve Bank and Bhopal Circle, when the year I joined, some 20 people were allotted to Bhopal Circle. I think 1 or 2 were not Brahmins. All the other, at least 3 or 4 maximum, all the others are Brahmins. The percentage of Brahmins in the population has always been 3%, something like that. So they all came through open competition. Once that was gone, and the DMK came to power, they got 0 in everything, and they'll not take anybody. I tried to get in medical. My father had got medical admissions for so many people. I could not get medical admission, and I did not get into. They did not even give me a BA seat in a Chutia college. That is how bad it has been. Now I'm talking about 71 when I tried to enter college. This is much worse. And every day on the street, or everywhere in the public, in media, you can call Brahmins by any name. You have this law. What is this SC/ST law? Something. If you call anyone by caste derogatory something, there is a law, right? Whatever it's called, I forget what the name of that is not applicable. You can call Brahmins anything, or I can call them snakes. You can call them prostitutes. Brahmin women are called prostitutes. Brahmin women are all very loose character. That you hear on TV channels all the time. Nothing happens to them. Anyway, so enough said. So that is how bad it is in Brahmin. But then again, as I said, you can go to any site and statistically you can see all this. And I'm sure somebody has compiled all this. So they're not a factor at all. It's not just they are a power factor. The only Brahmins you find in many of them have migrated like me, but there are many others who are still there. But it is a struggle, Himalayan struggle, to get school admission, college admission, a job, unless they compete nationally. Otherwise, they don't stand a chance in life in anything. So that is a fact.
Okay, so I mean, this kind of a scenario where the Brahmins and other high caste have not been selected into they could not enter the political space like MPs or MLAs to become ministers. And whatsoever, IPS, IAS from Brahmin and other caste are there through the national level,
Let
on
me
the
make
state
one
level
small correction.
bureaucracy.
One small correction. It's not the Brahmins or other high caste. That is the fundamental difference. This
Mhm.
applies only to Brahmins.
Okay.
Periyar made it all of us against Brahmins, not the lower
Okay.
caste or the upper. No, that is a very fundamental difference, which is different from
Yeah,
North
yeah,
India,
yeah.
I think.
I'm
Anyway,
getting it.
go ahead.
Mhm. So, in this situation,
Yeah.
now how do you perceive uh, the effect of Ram Mandir being constructed and all the huge celebration, its effect on this north-south divide, and as well as the politics of Tamil Nadu, or maybe in particular, in general, of the southern state like Kerala and Karnataka, or something like that.
Firstly, Tamil Nadu is unique. You cannot generalize because, as I
Okay.
told you. So let's leave out the other state.
Okay.
Tamil Nadu, first thing, one brief thing I want to mention is Annamalai. One of the reasons he is now BJP historically over the past 50 years, RSS has been active, but that we don't even hear about it. But it had, let's say, 30% of the for 30-40% of the leading BJP names in before Annamalai used to be Brahmin.
Okay.
Now, after Annamalai came, he is number one. This all these matter. He
Mhm.
is a non-Brahmin. He's a high Gounder is a high caste. They are supposed right below the Brahmin. They're very rich, influential people.
Mhm.
From so he's a Gounder. So it doesn't matter. He's a forward caste. He's not Brahmin. So he's one box just checked, and he's
Mhm.
very dark complexioned. Funny as it may sound, that again is a big thing factor in his favor. So they always associate Brahminness with fairness, with good looks, and with studies and good-looking women. Now, that is what they say. And then they hate the Brahmins for exactly the same thing, all of which they want to be, but they are not. I'm just generalizing. Don't take me literally.
Mhm.
But so Annamalai is none of these things. And the another important thing, just this is one aside, is Annamalai is again, this is one of the reasons for his, he has consciously kept the number of prominent voices in the BJP. Brahmin is kept only a few Brahmins. And he and I saw some I know I have some people in my cousin also is a corporation counsel. He is doing it consciously, not because he is anti-Brahmin, but because he says if you have the same thing, one anomaly surrounded by four Brahmins and one non-Brahmin, again they will brand this as a North Indian Aryan Brahmin, all mean the same thing to the party.
Mhm.
So now he has surrounded himself. If you see his press conferences, there are many people who have come from the DMK who have spent decades in the DMK, have been MPs, MLAs, and thugs also
Mhm.
from the DMK and ADMK. He has them by the side. Now they cannot throw this at them. And having these people, they know the ways, the horrible ways of the DMK and ADMK. At least they don't do it yet, at least I know, but they know what the DMK and ADMK will do, especially DMK. And they know that we can also do it in return if you step over the line. That is one thing. And of course, then now you are Delhi backing you. So that is and the Delhi at the ED. So all
Mhm.
these things play a part in Annamalai being successful. Plus the DMK tapes. Everybody knows how filthy, how thousands of crores that these people have, but nobody compiled it in such a logical fashion. He took his time, presented a question with all the statistics. He had all the reports. He's given a whole trunk, several, boxes of documents with property, where it is, and whose binami it is, and when it was acquired, blah blah blah. So this is the first time he has made it public, taken it to the public through the YouTube channels, and he has given it to the governor, and they know that lot of and everything, every copy, because he's in the IPS, he's able to do all this, get documents, do this. Everything is being followed up at the ED and in Delhi. So if they have 100 documents which they can screw on all these fellows. They release only 3 or 4, 1 or 2 or 3 ministers have been arrested, they've been convicted, which has never happened because of the nexus between ADMK and ADMK. They did not, they always, you take care of me, I'll take care of you. None of them went to prison. That nexus has been broken. So all this nonsense, all this criminality, proof of it is available with the center in, and the Annamalai, because of his competence and because of his non-connection. He's not a non-political. He's not with the DMK, ADMK. His family is not politics. He has no connection. All these DMK, ADMK fellows, they're all connected. Yesterday I was with you, today I'm with you, day after tomorrow I'll come back. So they'll never squeal on each other. This fellow is not like that. He has nothing to hide, and he can take it, and they're not. He doesn't have to be worried about how they will react. And whatever the worst they can do, Delhi is there. So that is all. These are the strengths of Annamalai. Now, if you translate into votes in 2024, he is trying to form a third alliance. There are many disgruntled elements from within the so-called Dravidian fold. Some of them, on principle, they're saying, "Yeah, we are Dravidians, we are the DMK." But this, I might have mentioned this to you. There is a JNU classmate, not my class, but same time he studied, from my hometown, whose father and my father go back. He has been worked for my father during election time. And all. He was an ordinary fellow then, his father. And this fellow is now minister, his son. And he tells me so many stories. He is a DMK. He's still with the DMK. He was an MP. He was a minister. He was an MLA and all those things. He used to come on national television also as a DMK spokesman in Delhi. He is educated in JNU and Delhi Law School, TU. Very smart guy. And he goes to the temple. He's extreme Shiv Bhakt. My hometown is Ardhanarishwar, half Shiva, half. He sends stuffed flowers from his garden, everything, every day. So, but he is with the DMK for purely survival. Many of the DMK fellows, or I would say good many of them, they may be corrupt, including my friend might have made some money. I'm not going into that. He might have, he was charged with something, but anyway, but regardless, even people like him, he was with Jayalalitha also at one time. They are sick. They are, yes, he was with Jayalalitha, then he went to DMK. Now he's still at DMK. He's because he was convicted on some case, he's still disqualified from contesting. That's the only reason. And he says, and his wife also is from JNU, Tamilian. She says, this is the worst thing he's gotten to. No, he can't get out of it. He also says, I can't get out. If I get out, I'll have no protection. You have to be with one party or the other. Then I lose all protection. There are many like him. And many of them have come out. They're so disgusted. He also used to tell me, all these young fellows, they are just this phone call that the finance minister recorded. These people have made 30,000 crores in 1 year. They don't know what to do with the money. That's how corrupt they are. Their own finance minister, whose father was a DMK, I think some minister, chief minister before independence. That guy, he's educated in the US and all that. They made him finance minister. And then he was caught on the phone. I don't know if you remember that. He was caught. Somebody taped the conversation. He was telling somebody else, this is getting out of hand. These fellows, he named Udaynidhi, I think, Udaynidhi and so on. These fellows are so corrupt. They have made 30,000 crores within 1 year. They don't even know where to put the cash. That is how bad it is. And somebody may have recorded it, obviously. Yeah.
So you mean to say there are so many people who may not agree with the Dravidian politics or DMK or AIDMK politics, but they are there for their own survival.
Yes, exactly.
And if since there was no other options, they are there. So if there is a third option is opening up,
yes,
they might change the side, and that will have a telling effect on the outcome. If that happens,
yes,
you need to say that.
Absolutely. So it is obviously something like this doesn't happen overnight. You cannot go from having 4 assembly seats to having 120, even one election, even 2 elections. But the trend can be set. But they have to see once if one of the third party which is not DMK, not even comes to power, uh, all the skeletons which have tumbled out of the cupboard because of Annamalai, they'll be hung out in public, and these fellows will be hung out in public. That is how it will be, because there's unbelievable corruption in Tamil Nadu. I don't know if it is anything comparable